Adam was becoming increasingly anxious as the days passed without any response from Mary. He had been trying to contact her through calls and messages, but there was no reply. His worry and frustration grew as he struggled to understand what could be going on. Thoughts raced through his mind, from the possibility of a simple misunderstanding to something far more troubling. James was busy preparing breakfast. He wanted to surprise Mary and make her morning special. He had been cautious about relationships, having experienced heartbreak in the past. But when he met Mary, he felt a connection that he couldn't ignore. He found himself falling deeply in love with her. As Mary woke up, James noticed that she seemed preoccupied with her phone. Concerned, he asked what was going on. Mary replied that an old friend had been sending her messages. James, eager to help, offered his assistance, but Mary assured him that there was no need for his intervention. Leaving the apartment, James and Mary encountered Adam, who had been waiting for them. James couldn't help but inquire if Adam was the one sending the messages. Mary reluctantly confirmed James' suspicions. Suddenly, James' demeanor transformed from kind to rude and menacing. Adam, a sensitive young man who had never hurt anyone, felt both silenced and offended. Unable to bear the confrontation, Adam decided to walk away, fearing any further escalation. For months had passed, and James and Mary's relationship seemed to be flourishing. They decided to embark on a trip to Thailand, with everything meticulously planned, from flights to hotels and exciting tour. Their time together had been filled with joy and happiness, and it seemed like their connection was growing stronger by the day. Under the warm sun, amidst the picturesque views and serene beaches of Thailand, James and Mary reveled in their love for each other. They indulged in the vibrant nightlife, exploring the local culture and creating beautiful memories. Mary couldn't resist sharing their experiences on Instagram, capturing the attention of her followers and garnering admiration for their enviable romance. However, the compulsion to document every moment on social media seemed to overshadow the true essence of their love. On the 5th day of their trip, James and Mary found themselves once again in the same nightclub they had frequented earlier. It had become their favorite spot. As they walked back to their hotel, Mary suggested a leisurely. A group of 5 or 6 men suddenly without warning, they viciously attacked Mary, in a state of shock and panic, was forced. The brutality seemed unending, leaving both James and Mary battered and broken. Mary found herself in the hospital corridor, anxiously awaiting news of James' condition. The doctors delivered the devastating news that James hadn't survived the attack. Mary, with questions and collecting evidence to bring the perpetrators to justice. The relentless stress and pressure became overwhelming for Mary, who struggled to find solace amidst the chaos. She couldn't even allow herself to fully mourn her loss, as the weight of the investigation and the never-ending stream of emotions consumed her. Eventually, Mary returned home, but the aftermath of the traumatic events had taken a toll on her. What had once been a beautiful dream had turned into a horrific nightmare. She was left to face the harsh reality of living alone, overwhelmed by sadness and a sense of having lost everything she held dear. In the midst of her despair, Mary unexpectedly crossed paths with Adam during a walk. They decided to grab a cup of coffee and catch up. As they sat together, Mary poured out her heart, recounting the harrowing events that unfolded during their ill-fated holiday. She expressed her deep sense of loneliness and vulnerability. Adam's genuine interest and concern melted her hardened heart, offering a glimmer of hope. They began to meet more frequently, initially as friends, but their connection grew stronger with each encounter. Adam silently hoped that their meetings would rekindle their past love and bring them back together. Suddenly, James' demeanor transformed from kind to rude and menacing. Adam, a sensitive young man who had never hurt anyone, felt both silenced and offended. Unable to bear the confrontation, Adam decided to walk away, fearing any further escalation. James pushed Adam aside. Adam retreated to his own home. Consumed by his emotions, he began following Mary and James on Instagram. James was not as active on the platform, but Mary's posts provided a window into their lives, their weekend activities, their moods, and their adventures. Curiosity turned to obsession when the man created a clone Instagram account to spy on James. He took the photos they posted and copied them to this account, commenting on them, adding racist statements and derogatory comments about the locals in Thailand. The stories and posts he shared were all geotagged. Eventually, some locals began to notice the disturbing posts. They grew increasingly angered by the Instagram account and decided to confront James in person. The anger that had simmered online erupted into a violent confrontation. James, caught in the crosshairs, fell victim to the rage of those who believed his hateful comments.